Well, hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut. I'm here with Brian Galke, and we are ACES 53, which has to do with, a long time ago. I was in college, and I came across a thing that said one of my instructors was like, remember 4 aces and a joker. And at the time, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? I don't play poker. But it's an acronym. ACES stand for attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and smile, what you bring to the table. And then the joker is that unique ability that you have or you've learned over time to use to make you different.
Sure.
And it's called ACES 53 because the 53rd card in the deck is a joker. And we're
So
not
as
a
a
band.
kid, you're playing 52 pickup, right? That's how everybody knows how many cards there are.
Yeah, something like that. I've done that so many times with so many kids.
Exactly.
Go pick them up yourself. Anyway, so that's what we do. We've been doing this for, I don't know, since January. Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah. So
we need to go count how many episodes we've been on.
Well, we need to actually do a lot more than that, but let's not get started. It's
Sure.
one of those things: get going, get good, and we just got going, and we're good at what we do. I'm in sales, direct to consumer for 25 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Brian's more of a business to business for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years.
Yep, I was in sales for 14 years.
Yeah, and so we cover each area. Why are you laughing at me? Because I'm like all over the place. What?
No. I was trying to think of how many years I was in it.
So you're counting? Is that
what I was in my head?
You're doing Joey. You're doing Joey.
I can only do 10, and then I'm kind of screwed. So
no, Joey on Friends is like, how do you do that? Well, I do add, I do a subtraction and whatever. Oh man, am I gonna?
Am I have to lead the episode again? Am I gonna have to lead the episode again?
I don't know. We are having. I had somebody else reach out. Would you like to try our new fiber optic? We just brought it to your building. Well, if it's better than what I have, of course I want to try it.
If it actually works, yes.
Yeah. Do you got a 3-month trial?
That's what finally the building I'm in. They are finally getting where they're doing fiber to the premise instead of me using the Verizon wireless box over there. So we shall see. I'm going to order it here soon.
Yeah, same here. I think it's because I'm tired of having a gig and it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of us, we do a lot of stuff here in the office, and we record through StreamYard. And I'm just going to say, and everything to it is amazing fast. You get into here, and you have the problem.
Yes,
it's kind of so. I don't know if their software has not caught up. I know we're a little off topic, but maybe their software is just because so many people using it, they're having issues.
We're just explaining that I didn't kick you out on Tuesday. That was literally just your internet went out.
I wish something happened.
I wish
I don't know what it was. I think you did kick me out, but
But what are we talking about?
We're still talking about words not to say.
Right. Words to stay away from. And then we're going to put a little bit of a different spin on this is what are some words you should say or have in your conversation when you're talking to your customers? We're going to cover a little bit of both today.
All right. Normally we have a joker, but we thought you've been so long without both of us all the time. So we thought we'd cover this week.
That's right. You get 2 for the price of 1, right?
Yeah, we get 2 jokers today.
That's right. All right. Jumping into it, what is the first one? This one's kind of a recap from Tuesday, contract. And there went, I thought you dropped. So what's the problem with the term contract?
All right, so I won't do that because if you get so,
good, it's my show again. Damn it, he's still here. The word contract, people immediately think long-term, you're going to be locked into something for the rest of your life or there's going to be attorneys involved. So it's just not a good term to use. So what's the suggested one that they say is use a term like agreement? That just sounds better. It's still a contract, but words can set people off or that, if you ever give a customer a reason to back out, a lot of times they'll use it. So this is about what's wording that people feel more comfortable with. Like, when you go and you sign a lease, they don't say sign the contract. Of course, it's a lease. So just depending on what industry you're in, there's some type of terminology. Agreement is one that's very popular versus saying contract, but there are other ones like that you can use.
Well, I'm just going to tell you in our industry, when it comes to the loan side, it's application. When it's on the real estate side, they still say contract.
Right.
And I explain to people, you understand what you're signing is a contract. Mm-hmm. That means there's contract law involved. So unless you do certain things, so everybody wants to know, why do I have to do an earnest money deposit? Because you got to give earnest on a contract to make it valid.
Are you talking about the movie star Ernest? Like Ernest Goes to Camp?
Boy,
That one's going to lose a lot of people.
yeah, that had lost me because
Yeah.
you know I'm not a hick that much. I am a hick, but I didn't even watch that one.
Yeah.
No, but a lot of people don't understand why they have to do earnest money deposit, and that's how you make a contract valid. And contract law gets into place on real estate because a lot of people think that's not what they're signing.
Right.
You are, and so I take it the opposite way of what you said. Make it easier. I can see that on normal stuff, but when it's the largest largest purchase in your life or
Yes.
loan, you need to. I think we look at it a little differently.
Well, think about it on all the apps where they have terms and agreements or terms and conditions. What is it really that you're saying? I agree with the contract terms. I mean, it's just different wording used for the same thing, but pretty much anything you sign your name to is a contract, but people don't like hearing the term contract. So the one we
just lie to them.
That's right. What is the other one we talked about earlier last week or earlier this week?
This week, I know it seems like forever, but it was just a few days ago.
Is cheap. Nobody thinks of, I got a good deal. When you hear cheap, they think it's going to fall apart. It's crap. It doesn't sound good. So one that you can use for that is it's affordable. All right. So if somebody's coming in, you don't say, it's such a cheap deal. It's amazing. It just doesn't sound right. But you can say the deal's affordable or the product's affordable. And then people are like, okay. Even then it's still, what's your definition of affordable? It just sounds like you can make it work no matter what. So again, are these word games? Yes.
Inexpensive. You're not supposed to use that one either.
I don't use inexpensive because again, you don't know what somebody else's budget is. And
well, how about affordable? You don't know what somebody else's budget is.
That's true, but again, it sounds better. An interesting book on this whole subject is Words That Sell. Mm-hmm. So that's a book that salespeople are encouraged to get. That what are the commonly misspelled words? What should you use? Free prizes, timely words, traditional, you name it. So good, cheap book gives you a lot of ideas of how you can say things just a little bit better. I made the same joke.
Content.
Yes. Like I made the joke on Tuesday. I'm not a cashier. I'm a financial transaction specialist. You're really a cashier, but people like fancy terms and titles, right?
Well, it's like I'm not a bank robber anymore. I did an unauthorized withdrawal.
Exactly. With a loaded weapon.
Without a loaded weapon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, unauthorized withdrawal. It just they change words on everything to make it sound so much better.
Yes.
All the way through the political side. So you have to, and there's certain things I don't want changed. I want certain harsh words so people really understand what it is. So
agreed, especially if it's something egregious. I mean, it's something that you harm someone else. They don't need to make it sound like it's less than it was. If you try and kill someone, it should be attempted manslaughter, not, was it assault?
Not to say and words to say, and we're going to say things in here that we're not trying to offend people. We're just saying how people use it wrong or shouldn't use it. And that's what we just did with what we just did. We were just showing an example of where to be careful. And because you're going to offend, no matter what you do, you're going to potentially offend somebody.
Well,
there's no way to be perfect.
Out of context is a soundbite that's inappropriate, right? So that's the paranoia that kicks in, is exactly what just happened.
But paranoia, what? That they said what you said.
That what I said could be taken as a sound clip instead of what it was meant to convey, right? But
are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll play that in a minute. A huge one for my industry. I don't know that this one really applies to yours, but one that when I was in is off the shelf. Unless you're running to a department store to get something, if people are going to spend a lot of money, nobody likes to hear the term off the shelf. It's just one of those that it's
off the shelf means it's like it's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's not customizable. It's not meant to do anything. It's basically you get what you get instead of how my product or service can be adapted for you.
Oh,
it's just like, this is off the shelf. So, it's plug and play. Like that's a really popular one.
How old is this statement?
Off the shelf?
Yeah, because I've never used it in my life.
Pretty popular. I mean,
really?
Because when a customer buys something, if you want to say basically, I will put no effort to customize it. It's not really, it can't be adapted for your type of business. You just say, hey, it's an off the shelf product. And so if it's something that literally somebody could go, like TVs are an off the shelf product, right? You plug it in, it works. There's absolutely no customization that can be done for you. It's basically take it or leave it is an off the shelf product. Okay. And that was a big no-no in a lot of industries because people are like, well, wait a minute, what do I need you and your company or what sets you apart if it's an off the shelf? So if I can buy it from any vendor, then why am I buying it from you versus the cheapest vendor? So it's a very bad term to use.
That word again, cheap.
Yes.
Hope somebody doesn't cut that video up and cut that out of content.
Well, like I said, I may go redo that one. A big one. I'm guilty of this one. It slips out from time to time, and that is to be honest. And as soon as you say that, people
get light.
Yeah. Yes. And the other one, there was a video that was in, somebody said, well, why should we listen? I was like, oh, trust me. And then they're like, oh yeah, we should just trust. I'm like, God damn it. So if you say that, or you say to be honest, then people immediately think, well, wait, so do you lie to me the rest of the time? And this is the only time you're being honest? It's just not a good phrase to say at all.
Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
That's another one.
Right. Exactly. Go.
No, lie to me. No, lie to me now.
Lie to me all the time.
Be honest with you. No, don't lie to me.
It's such a bad, and it's so common. I was listening to something the other day that somebody said, when you start off a sentence, we'll say with, oh, well, the funny thing is, and it's never anything funny that follows it, right? We just say some dumb things. This is a high one on the list of the, to be honest.
Right. The other ones are, and please, this is I don't mean to offend you.
Yeah, exactly.
But like right? I have somebody else who does that funny thing in video. This is a funny thing. And you're right. There's nothing funny after it.
It's funny to the person saying it, not to anyone else typically.
And it's like when I do videos, sometimes a lot by myself, those little fillers, and we talked about that. Don't fill anything, just be quiet. But you think you need to fill it and you don't.
Well, that's it. People are paranoid about silence, and they're like, I have to fill it. It's another one. But with this one, transparency. People like the idea of being transparent. They want to see what's going on. So instead of saying to be honest, you can say full transparency and people will get it. Or just
I don't like that either.
I like it better.
This is how I feel. This is how I am. Here's why I don't want, or why I do, why I don't. Whatever works for them, but I see what you're saying. But to be transparent, because normally I'm not going to be transparent.
Right. I know. It's a slight shade of better than to be honest. Now,
it's not a shade at all. It's just the same thing in a different word. You must have got that. Hey, ChatGPT, how do you change to be honest to something transparent?
Yeah, that's what it came back with. Yeah,
of course it did.
But radical transparency is a word that Ray Dalio uses within his hedge fund, right? He talks about you can never be fired for making a bad trade, but you can be fired for hiding a bad trade. And so their policy there is radical transparency. And so there are ways that it has a positive meaning to it. And then when things are transparent, you can see what's going on. So I like the word transparent.
I know, but it's just in a normal sales environment with a normal person, customer, business to customer. I just think somebody wouldn't like that word.
Yeah. And see, we don't always have to agree. So
no, we'll agree to disagree.
That's right. All right. Now moving on to what are some words that they recommend using that customers tend to like. And the first one that pops up is the opposite of off the shelf, and that is personalized. And even more so this day and age, like we've talked about before, because of the internet, what's out there, even Chat GPT, what do you do when you go into it? You don't say, write me a sales letter for blah, blah, blah. You go in and you describe your perfect avatar. Write me a sales letter for a man, for a woman, for a certain race, a certain age limit, you name it.
Have you tried to do it that way?
Yeah.
Yourself personally?
Yeah.
Because I did it one time and it told me I couldn't do that because that would be a gender thing.
Oh, really? No, we went in after I was in Las Vegas and they covered what AI could do and they drilled down. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go play with this a little bit more. So it is interesting how you can tailor it down a little bit, but personalized makes us feel like that's what we're spending the extra money for. So customized, personalized, you name it. Why do people, when they get shirts made, you can get an off the shelf, again, going back to that, or off the rack, or you can get custom fit is another way of saying a personalized shirt. And what do a lot of people do if they get a shirt tailored? You can have your initials put on it, so that's personalized for you. A big thing used to be, was it like the knives? There's certain type of expensive knives that people would give away. Yeah, Cutco knives. Yeah, and they would have something engraved on it. So it's personalized for the person. People just like that inherently.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do closing gifts in my industry and they personalize. The problem is if they put their information on it, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Because I know people who put like give you mats for the front door and their company information's on the side, down on. It's like, first thing I would do is throw this away because it has you. Now, everybody knows who I do a loan for because I get a custom rug with their initial only, but it's thick and huge. It doesn't say anything about me, but people know where it comes from.
Right. And you're absolutely right. If I give a quote unquote, like somebody gave me this tumbler mug, right? And it's got my business name on it and it doesn't have theirs anywhere. It was one of those. Huh?
But you remember who did it?
Oh, absolutely. Because I know who sent it to me. Of course, they stuck a sticker in it and a thank you card with their company name, but they didn't put theirs anywhere on it. They just put my name on it, which is the selling point. And hence the reason why I keep it out all the time. And so that's where the personalized really comes in. You want to hit the next one? You got one on this?
I don't even have the banners up there, dude.
Come on,
you're Bruce Banner.
I know. I love the banners.
Easy. What about easy? You're easy?
Yeah, well, people, especially if you're selling a high technology product, people want to know ease of use.
Right. But see, my problem with a lot of these words, I have to make sure I can define them before I can use them.
Sure.
What does that mean to me? Easy.
Right.
Because we're fast, cheap, and easy.
Right.
What does that mean? Yeah.
That's what I always say. There's always three things you can have, right? What is it? Fast, cheap, or what's that? Expensive? Like there's the triangle that they always talk about, or the triangle.
I can't remember. We used to say it all the time.
I have to look that one up.
Cheap,
right?
Fast or easy? Cheap, fast, or is that it? Cheap, fast, or
you can have cheap, you can have fast,
or good. Cheap, fast, or good.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll have to look that one up for the next episode. I just remember seeing something about it not too long ago, and they were talking about the 3 ways that it can show up. But easy is, how can I make this easier? Because a lot of people, if it's for example, in your industry, it can be seen as.
By the way, it's cheap, fast, or good.
There you go.
Can't have all 3. You can only have 2.
There you go. All right, thank you.
No problem.
With easy, like with the process of what you help somebody to own a home can be seen as a daunting process. When you're talking to them, you're just say, hey, look, I'm here. This is what the reason I'm here to work with you on it. I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you. Now,
uncomplicated, not complicated. So with us, it's a lot of people think it's a hard process and it's a very easy process. We make it we take care of all the issues for you.
Yes. And with me coming,
which I'm not supposed to say issues, remember?
Oh, that's right. You're not supposed to. With me coming from a technology background, it was ease of use. Is it an intuitive software that people could understand easily? Because there was always that fear of change, of moving away from an existing system. Like, let's take you and I out of it. Microsoft, or Apple, they've always got to sell the next operating system that they have. And people got used to, like, for example, Word 95. And they never wanted to move away from it, right?
95.
Yeah.
Where have you?
That's when I first got into computers, right? It was in the 90s. And but they had a lot of problem with companies not wanting to migrate off of it because people got used to, well, I know where everything's located now. And so when you had to go to the next operating system, it was a major deal for a lot of corporations because of the fear of, will it be as easy to use as what I currently understand? And that was one of the things in the industry I came from that we had to battle was, if they had several hundred employees who were used to using a certain software, you had to explain the ease of use, or how easy it would be for them not only to go through the changeover process, but for their staff to use the software at the exact same time.
It's like our industry has been very slow to change because of that. Certain things that people have been in it forever. Like the average age of people in the mortgage industry is like 52 years old. It's all older people, not younger people. So that was very slow to change on a lot of stuff. Even myself, I told you, we talked about this before, pain or pleasure. And I went through pain last month and we ended up changing into a totally different software, which is so much easier to use and able to do it on multiple channels and other stuff, where before you're so like, do I really want to learn something new?
Right. Yeah.
And I could totally see that. So from a customer point of view, I could totally see how a customer doesn't want to do certain things.
Yeah. The next one, proven. And what that is nobody likes the idea of being a guinea pig. Now, I'm going to play pros and cons in this here in a minute.
Okay.
A proven system, is what people feel comfortable with. I'm not the guinea pig. I'm not your beta trial. This isn't going to screw my stuff up. Now, there are some customers who love the idea of helping you test new software. And so they want you to deploy what's proven. But then if you say, hey, I have a new feature, are you willing to test it out? They're cool with it because they want to be involved in the process. But otherwise, most people want to follow a quote unquote proven method or a proven product, something that they're not worried is going to crash on them or create more issues or harm for them.
Well, I mean, it's like all the stuff we had with the new AI. I'm all over it. I want to learn easier, faster ways to do things. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I could totally understand where people don't want to do that, but I want to make my process always improve. So
the challenge when people hear proven is they always worry about that same, it's always been done this way, which means there's lack of progress, right? Oh, well, it's a proven system, so we're just going to stick with it. And that's where people and companies become stagnant because they're not willing to try something new. So it's figuring out where's the cutoff point where you need to adapt, like you're talking about. I met a graphic artist and some marketing people, I may be repeating myself, a week ago. I went to a dinner at a place, and the people sitting next to me at the bar, they're in the marketing. And I says, well, how are you guys using ChatGPT? And they're like, well, we haven't played with any AI yet. And I'm like, how have you not? You're in marketing and you haven't even played with the enemy to understand it. They're like, yeah, we've never even logged in about it. We heard about it. We don't know if it's really worth our time. I said, if you haven't done this, you're already so far behind your competition. And not even just your competitors, but it is your competition. You need to know how to use it to help improve your job, or you're going to lose your job to it. So it blew my mind. I had sat there with them for half an hour and showed them on my phone. I'm like, all right, give me an example of what you do. Give me an example. And they were like, oh, it can do all that? I'm like, yeah, in 3 seconds. So,
and they're all going, oh, we all got new jobs. Yeah, we always.
Yeah. I told them, you better get on board fast or you're going to be unemployed.
Yeah, it's funny how people don't really know what's going on. They just focus day to day, and they don't look at the, and I get it, because one thing I look at is in my industry, how much it changes on a regular basis. Like every 6 months, it's so fast. 3 months, things change. And,
yes.
And, technology wise and other stuff, where you go back 20 years ago, it barely changed day in and day out.
Right. Well, I can even understand if you are talking like people fear cryptocurrency. Okay, I get it, because it's complicated to set up. You hear about all the downsides. Same thing, metaverse. I can kind of understand why people stay away from that. I think it's not smart on both those plays. But when you're talking about, can you type a sentence, then you can use ChatGPT.
I can't type a sentence.
Yeah. Do you know how to ask a question? Guess what? You can use ChatGPT. And if you're not, you're, in my mind, an idiot. So you can use that sound clip. That's right.
That's just rude, man.
That's right. This was a big one in my industry, and that was, we don't provide a product, we provide a solution for your problems. And the worst thing that we would see people go in, especially like newer salespeople or some people that are very arrogant salespeople, is they'd walk in and say, we have the perfect product for you. How do you know? You don't know what all my problems are. So instead, it's, we're your solutions vendor. We want to help explain to us what your problems are, what your challenges are. Then this is the solution we can provide, instead of it being about a product. Because what happens with products, over time, they change. There's newer versions. You may have to sunset or kill a product. So that's why you're a solutions provider versus a product provider.
You said the K word.
I know.
You and your words. Your words are just hurting me today.
Today it's so bad. So bad.
Sticks and stones.
Right. But the goal today was to kind of keep it short and sweet. So what is my final banner? Because me, I love banners, and I am going to read off: effective communication sales involves understanding, addressing the customer's concerns while highlighting the values and benefits of what you're offering them. And that's really what it comes down to. Is it a little bit of wordplay? Yes, but words matter. Like we mentioned earlier, you can say the same thing 5 different ways and people are going to take it differently, depending on which words you choose to use. So this is just a suggestion from going out and researching or looking on ChatGPT to say, what are some of the common words that people should stay away from? What are some words that people should move towards? Do you have any key ones in your industry that kind of you use on a regular basis, Ed?
Yeah, what I've been talking about. For me, I can't say it's affordable, right? Because unless I really know their budget, and I do know their budget, but what's affordable to me doesn't mean that it's going to be affordable to them. Because I explain to them all the time when I qualify somebody, it's not what I can qualify you for, it's how much of a payment you really want and feel comfortable with. And that's different in any industry. If you're looking at, because you don't want to sell on price and sell on payment, like they do what can I get you into the car today? What kind of a payment do you want?
Yes.
Nothing. That ain't gonna work. All right. Okay, thanks. I'm paying cash. So I mean, it's just in our industry, there's just certain jargon that we don't use, shouldn't use jargon. And I talk at what I'm so used to talking to a regular person when I talk, that even when I talk to people in my industry, we do the same thing. But like I was recording radio and my co-host says REO and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, what does REO mean? Real estate owned by the bank, right? We explain certain acronyms that we talked about before that don't use any acronyms at all. Right. Even if they know what they are, I would tell you not to use them.
See, and then that's where we had the differing of opinion on Tuesday was in some industries, as long as you're talking to an industry expert and they know the acronyms.
So, okay, business to consumer, no. Consumer, maybe business to business, yes, maybe.
Right. Because it would have the opposite effect of if you had to spell everything out, they'd be like, this person's an idiot who doesn't even know the acronym to shorten things out. So it can have, depending on, like you said, business to business, if they know all those acronyms, go for it. But to your point, if they're in a different industry, drop your lingo, drop your acronyms. And especially if you're selling something like for you talked about helping people buy a home. When I went in, there's 3 times in my life that I felt like just utterly out of no idea how ignorant I was. I would say that was buying my first house, looking at engagement rings and trying to understand carats and size and weight and color and clarity, and then going and doing a baby registry to know what the hell should I have when creating this new human. So that was the 3 times I probably felt the dumbest in my life.
Well, the second time when they were talking about carat clarity and all that, they're like, just 3 times your normal salary, monthly. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Just whatever you make a month times it by 3, that's what you should spend.
Yes.
I was like, that was the smartest thing they ever did.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because then they just set the price for you. So yeah.
Set the price for them. Right. And you're not going to balk at them. Here's the $19,000 ring. Oh, but my salary is only $1,000 a month. Well, you shouldn't be getting married.
That's right. You should probably save up.
You should probably go back and get a real job.
Yeah. How much does she make? Are you independently wealthy? Are you going to inherit
a stay-at-home husband, stay-at-home dad? And that's okay. But
right.
Which is fine with everything. If that's what you are, I don't really care. But we're just trying to understand who you are. When I talk to consumer, that's all I talk to, right? That's I don't do business to business sales. I might deal with a business owner, but I'm not going to talk, back to the acronym. I'm not going to talk acronyms to him. And sometimes you're talking and you're like, okay, they don't know what that means. DTI, debt to income ratio. What does that mean? For every dollar you bring in, how many cents goes towards a mortgage? How many cents goes towards your mortgage and your other debt? That's those ratios. They understand it then, right? And then going forward, I can say DTI to them and they understand what I mean. But you need to explain whatever it is up front. That's all I'm saying.
And that's a lot of times, like you mentioned, with not using lingo, I would actually say, hey, look, I don't mean to talk up or talk down to someone. So this is the level we're going to talk at. And if it's too low, we can adjust up. If we're using terms you don't understand, we can adjust now. And just throw it out there. Because if you give permission to people to ask questions if they don't know something, you're going to have a lot better. Because if you just blow through stuff assuming that they understand it, they don't want to raise their hand for fear of feeling stupid. And they'll just kind of nod and agree and then probably pass on the deal. So it's something that it's worth the time to not use lingo, not use slang, not use the acronyms, and just really make sure that they're understanding what you're talking about.
And just talk to them like a normal person. The problem is you have people who talk to people with disdain in their voice or with I'm better than you or this, those, and it's arrogant. Arrogant. Yeah. And if you're really going to be in sales, you need to really learn what you do
Mhm.
And if you're in sales, understand you're in sales and understand how to talk to clients. And if you need more information, what's that book again? That sales book about words that
Itself.
sell. Yeah,
Yep.
I have that in the other room.
Yeah.
I know, I'm serious, because I did direct mail. So you use certain words. But the most important thing would be, what I'm saying is, go back to Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, all the great, Tom Hopkins, re-listen to their stuff, find certain things that you like what they do, and add more of this into there. And research. There was a couple of people you were talking about, you didn't say on here, but before the show you were telling me their books. What was that?
Oh, well, we talked about like Sam Taggart.
Yeah.
What's that?
For words.
Yeah, Sam Taggart talks a lot. So Sam is the one that founded Door-to-Door Experts, the Door-to-Door Experts on Instagram. And they'll do in their trainings, they'll talk about what terms to use and what not to use, what scares customers, because these are people knocking on doors. So people are already, hesitant to talk to them to begin with. There are certain words to stay away from. I think in Never Split the Difference, they cover like some things to stay away from. There's a lot of books that are specific with language. A great person to follow if you really want to learn about like sentence structure and things his name is Jeremy Miner, and he's got what's called 7th level communication. Great course to sign up for. It's called NEPQ. It's neuro emotional probing questions. And it's learning how to talk with people instead of at them. It's a great course. It's one of those, there's no affiliate. It's such a good course. I signed up for it and I thought, oh God, let me be an affiliate for this guy because it's so beneficial. And he doesn't do it. So this is just promoting him because I believe in his product. And he puts a ton of information out on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for free, obviously hoping people go a little bit deeper and sign up for his courses, but he gives away a lot of good tips and tricks.
Right. And the most important thing is just ask your clients why they're doing what they're doing. What do they want to get out of it? You need to find out who your clients are, because you can make a mistake and say inexpensive or cheap, and or you go cheap, I mean inexpensive, and they'll laugh. Right. And I'm about rapport. So I'll do certain things that other people won't do. I don't get caught up on certain words where other people do. I understand there's trigger words and emotional trigger words and other type of trigger words. Those don't affect me as much as other people. And that's okay. For me, the right people will come to me. And I know somebody out there don't like me and they'll say stuff about me, but that's, until you have that, you have made it anyway. So don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just focus on your client.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. I think that's about it.
Yep. We're there here. So if we don't get canceled after that earlier section of today's talk, then we'll be back again on Tuesday.
It's not that big of a deal. We were just stating what other, those are things that people will say that affect people right now that won't affect them in 10 years from now or 5 years from now when certain things are different. It's just, we go through this. We went through it during the 70s. We went through it in the early 80s. Now we're going through it in a different way. It's always something going on in the culture of our society, and you can't get worried about it. You just have to focus on what you're doing.
Exactly. So, all right. So once again, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday Ed likes to speak in his time zone, 10 o'clock Pacific. I like to say noon Central because I live in Texas. But on Tuesdays, it's just the two of us. On Thursdays, we usually have an extra guest who has a special skill or talent that is associated with that week's topic. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, ACES 53, or follow us on our social media. Anything else, Ed?
No, that's it. And thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And
like
Brian says, the best thing you can do to support us is just go over to our YouTube channel to subscribe.
Yes.
All right. Make it a great day. Thanks.